Hello, everyone. I'm just going to give it a second while people jump in here. Okay, so I will try to keep my eye on if people want to get in or not. But today we are going over, it's the first day of lead follow-up. So it's our third segment of Ignite today. We have become, and I'm Allison Correa. I'm the productivity coach here in Southern Oregon. I have a tendency to talk really fast. If you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask those questions as we go through this class today. So it is officially the third segment of, sorry, I'm just letting someone in real quick. Ignite, and we have covered becoming the real estate expert of choice by building your value proposition. We've also covered generating leads through prospecting and marketing. And today our focus now switches to the lead follow-up, where you can make or break your business. Generating a lead can take almost no time at all. The important aspect is keeping that lead in your grasp until they're ready to do business with you. It can, in some cases, take up to 10 years. Today, this next segment of Ignite will help you turn a possible business into a probable business, and then probable business into a profitable business. So we will engage after class. You'll do your daily success systems that you've been doing, hopefully adding those 10 contacts, doing the 10 handwritten cards, and growing your, putting those into command so that you're growing your CRM there. So sorry, just got to get my slides working. Of course, they're going to fight with me. So the topics of lead follow-up are as follows. And of course, they're going to jump over them. So we keep every lead. We follow up with leads. We strengthen relationships. And we qualify potential buyers and sellers. So today we're going to cover that keep every lead part. The lead follow-up process is essential to converting leads to business from the moment you've captured a lead and put it in your database. Before we begin, does anyone have any progress with your success systems that you'd like to share? I always like to give a minute for that. I know it's kind of a quiet group. I've found this session. So we're just going to go over that. If you'd like to shout something out, I'd love to hear it. So also the other thing that we can share here is if you're having any challenges with that and you want any ideas from the group of how to overcome challenges while lead generating, and maybe the success systems, you found one area that's a little hard for you, feel free to share that also. The other thing I like to touch on that is more in person versus virtual is finding an accountability partner. All of you have a coach, which is a great accountability partner, but if you can also set up a newer agent to do script practice or just check in with to make sure you're doing your success systems, that's always helpful too. So if you see somebody that you've kind of got familiar with through this, give them an email and say, do you want to work on something together? So the agenda for the day is that by the end of the day, you'll be able to describe the benefits of establishing a system of lead follow-up. You'll apply the 19 to Connect touch campaign with leads. You'll explain the importance of cementing the relationship with your leads. To start thinking about what you'll learn today, let's consider what questions you might have about lead follow-up and what you'd like to know more about. You can also look back or think back to what you learned in previous sessions, especially in the last segment of Ignite, which included lead generation. So if you have a couple of these questions, if you don't already have them wrote down, feel free to add them. By the end of this session, hopefully we'll have those questions answered. And if not, please shout them out so we can get those answers for you. So what is lead follow-up? Who can recall what the definition of a lead is? A lead is a person who's shown interest in the service you provide and you have their contact information. Although they are yet to engage in a two-way conversation, the goal of lead follow-up is to follow up with the lead with the goal of entering a two-way conversation. Does lead follow-up only apply to a lead? No. Every person in your database, whether a lead or a contact, requires follow-up, so that when you have a real estate need, they immediately think of you. Consider this: are the people you put into your database only in your real estate database, or are only in your real estate database? Are you only the, I'm sorry, are you the only real estate agent that they know? I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. Not likely. So how many other real estate agents do you think have the same person in their database? How do you ensure that when they think of real estate, they immediately think of you? So I think the statistic is that everyone knows a minimum of 7 real estate agents. So you want to be forefront of mind when they think of their real estate needs. So that is why it is so important to follow up with your lead. Let's review the graphic and what it means when it comes to lead follow-up. Everyone in your database lives on some point along these waves. At the top of the wave is when they purchase a house. The day after they buy the house, they move down the wave and continue until they begin to think about a new house. Over someone's lifetime, they have the potential to buy 1, 2, or 3 more houses. The distance between those purchases is on average 7 to 10 years. If I gave you a lead to close at the top of the wave, what would you perceive about the quality of that lead? Most likely you'd perceive that it is a high quality lead. That is, they are close to being ready to purchase again. What if I gave you a lead right after they purchased a house? You may perceive it's a bad lead. However, there are no bad leads. Every lead is on the wave somewhere. This lead may not be hot right now, yet they are future potential. As a real estate agent, following up with leads with the frequency and intensity is the key of remaining in close emotional proximity. So as any lead approaches the top of the wave and are ready to purchase, they think of you. This is where the importance and value of lead follow-up comes into play. Think of the leads that enter your database through lead generation as your possible business. Lead follow-up helps turn the leads from possible business into probable business, with the end goal being a profitable business. The 2021 National Association of Realtors profile of a home buyer and seller details the opportunity that lead follow-up can provide to your business. They collected research that shows when selecting an agent to use, 73% of buyers only talk to one agent, and 82% of sellers contacted one agent. Since the data shows that the buyers and sellers only talk to one agent before deciding to do business with them, what will you do to ensure that you are the one agent in everyone's database? If you aren't first or second in their mind, you probably won't get their business. The concept of taking up space in people's minds through staying in close emotional proximity to them is called mind share. Emotional proximity is a result of engaging in touches in your database. Thinking back to the day you learned about lead generation, what touches are the strongest when it comes to relationship building, and what are the weakest? So some of the stronger ones are meeting in person and phone calls are the touches that will have the greatest impacts on relationships that you are building. Email and text are weaker related to forming connections and bonds. While you lead follow-up, use a variety of touches. It's very important to keep in mind which ones will be most effective as you follow up. Sorry, I just had a couple more people jump in. Does anyone have any aha moments from just that spiel there about emotional proximity?
From one of my very first open houses back in June or something, I have someone who was talking about buying a home and she was back and forth. And the last time I checked in with her, she was like, "What do you think about Utah?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know much about Utah, but I can refer you to an agent in Utah if you need anything." So even just a lead that's back and forth and not good quality, like you were saying, can still get me some type of paycheck at the end of the day.
Right, you'll get that referral fee, and she trusted you to ask. So
Yes.
that's a really great thing. And you have done enough education where you knew about the referral network and you know that it'll be easy for you to find her a KW agent in most areas. So
Yes.
that's really good, Sophie. So does anyone else have an aha they'd like to share? If not, we'll just keep it rolling. Just like your intention to be strategic with your lead generation efforts, you should be strategic with your lead follow-up efforts. Being thoughtful about how you'll follow up and leveraging the highest value touches that yield the greatest result will help you convert leads at a higher level. So go ahead, if you have the Ignite workbook, you're going to turn to the Fortune is in the follow-up Mindshare page in your participation guide. Mindshare is gained through positioning yourself in front of your leads, frequently with relevant and timely information. The goal is to open the door in two-way communication, in addition to getting them to think about you anytime they think about real estate. Through Ignite, you have been introduced to two different systems that engage your leads and contacts and help you gain mindshare. What are these systems? 19 to connect and 36 to convert. If you want more information, more in depth from this class, you are able to go into your command and go to connect. And in the Keller University, type in 19 to connect or 36 to convert, and they can get you a more in-depth look also if you missed something or want to go over those systems. These are the recommended systems for touch campaigns you were first introduced to during the lead generation segment. With leads, we will specifically use 19 to connect. To review, 19 to connect is made up of 4 phone calls, 12 touches, such as a monthly email, newsletter, or market report, or video, 2 touches related to promotional direct mail, and 1 touch that is a client event or party. The intent of these touches is to be spread out over a calendar year, which equates to about 1 touch every 3 weeks. The goal of this communication is to establish a formal relationship and open two-way communication. Keep in mind that this is just a list and not perspective of order you should complete them. For example, the 4 phone calls will have the greatest impact if you spread them out to 1 a quarter. When do you think a lead should be added to your 19 to connect touch campaign? A lead should be added to your campaign immediately. Be aware that when communicating with leads, it is a speed to lead. This is how quickly you reach out after the lead has engaged with you. Your speed to lead should be rapid. Just think if the lead entered your database through a social media post and consider how quickly that person has already moved on to engaging and interacting with other social media. What if your next account they interact with was also a real estate agent? You should engage that lead before they contact anyone else. As you get started in your real estate career, and as you begin to generate leads during Ignite, there are some considerations you should make regarding your own lead follow-up plan. So you'll be using whichever lead follow-up best practices page in your participation guide for some brainstorming. So I'll give you guys about 5 minutes here where you're going to go ahead and use that page to brainstorm some ideas on best practices for lead follow-up. I'll just start a little timer and let you guys work on that for a minute. As you are finishing up that brainstorming, if you want to share an idea with the group, that's great. We always love to hear your thoughts. It helps everybody else learn too. So feel free to shout that out. I'm going to give it just a couple more minutes. Okay, so some things to consider when following up with leads are match the touch campaign with your strengths as an individual. Be prepared when you reach out with the reason you are calling or contacting that lead. For example, you want to be sending market information or a touch prior to a phone call. So you'll always want to find a reason to reach out and add value as you call them. And also a great practice is to ask them what they need. If you know they're a business owner or you know that they do multi-level marketing, or ask how you can support what they're up to also, because then you come from a place of giving. Make sure that each time you communicate with the lead, they know that you're in the real estate business and how to reach you and how to refer business to you. Just like Sophie referenced earlier, she got that referral question from an client that she met in an open house that she probably mentioned that she can help with things like that. So it's good to remind them, because sometimes people forget you can help out of state too. Know when you're going to complete your daily lead follow-up tasks, and this should be time blocked as a separate activity from your lead generation time. So if you make 10 calls during the day, make sure you block out time to put the contact into your command system or update notes if they already exist in there. Set your personal standard for speed to lead. What time frame do you expect yourself to be in contact with a lead when it comes in? Now you have a chance to think about and design your own 19 to connect plan so that you'll be able to implement it easily. So we're going to just review this slide really quick. I'm going to make this a little smaller here. So 4 calls or texts to conversions means you connect with every lead quarterly, offer something of value, and ask for a referral. 12 emails, newsletters, or market reports. And those can be a birthday card, a market report, informative video, informative email, or a neighborhood newsletter. 2 promotional direct mail. So you can do something regarding the local sport team schedule, an annual calendar. Some people like recipe postcards, and 1 event. So the great thing about Keller Williams is we do Red Day every year. Our offices often have community events organized by individual agents or the leadership, and you can invite your clients to that. Don't forget to let the community know about the ways that Keller Williams and yourself give back, and ask them to be a part of that.
Hey, Allison,
Yes.
I've been thinking about doing some type of clothing drive for the Head Start daycares and preschools here in Klamath Falls. Is that something I would reach out to Keller Williams about?
If
And
you wanted some marketing around it, we could help you with that. And yeah, if you want to get your whole office involved, that would be awesome. Yeah. And just we would love to support that in any way we can. And when an agent individually organizes something like that, usually they'll invite their whole office. We'll share some social media marketing. So yeah, once you get it mapped out of dates and stuff, let us know and we'd love to support it.
okay, great. Thank you.
And don't forget to invite your clients to help. So when you have generated a lead and captured their information, you can talk to them. If you haven't heard back and you don't know how much about the person, then your communication will be broader, focusing on a range of values. This is where you'll communicate your value with your own value proposition that we went over on day 4 of Ignite. You can even use the company or personal statistics. We know that people are more likely to respond when the message you are communicating feels personal and relative to them. As you engage with your leads, you can uncover how to serve them better and learn what they're interested in. As you learn this, you segment your leads into more specific groups and can communicate more detailed and value-based information. Relevant conversations have more value, are timely, and lead to a greater opportunity for future conversion. So as most of you know, in Command, you do have the opportunity to make a note. So if somebody tells you they have a child that plays baseball or they're getting a new job, make that note. So the next time you call, you can reference what's going on with them. It makes them feel like you really listen and you remember what's going on in their life and you're not just calling for them to support your business. Look beyond the who when you contact a lead. The most basic way to start doing this is to craft your message based on the source that the lead was generated from. For example, if the lead came through in a social media post about first-time home buyers, sending them an investment property newsletter might not be the most relevant for their current motivation. Once the doors open for two-way communication, use conversations to find their motivation for engaging with your business, what their timeline is, and possibly other interests. Use this information to group them. Also in Command, you're able to create tags or utilize the tags that already exist to make sure you have your groups sectioned out, and it makes it really easy to market to them virtually. So if you turn to the Communicate with Value page in your participation guide, it'll show you that once you know the source of the lead, you can narrow your range of value. Knowing the source of the lead helps inform you on how you compare a value with your communication. For example, a lead generated through a client referral will be communicated differently from a lead that came in from a phone call. So this activity that's on here is another brainstorming activity. These questions can be incorporated into the 19 touch campaigns. Again, this is something that, like, when we're all in a room together, it's really great to take a moment to talk about, but I would definitely just put a little note to come back and do some brainstorming around this topic. We're a quiet group, so I'm not going to force you guys to do that here. But first, consider the lead sources that you already have in your database. If you aren't sure where to start with referrals, open houses, or social media, since those activities you've learned about or engaged with since starting Ignite. On the screen, you can also see a variety of possible lead sources that you may already have in your database. I know Sophie's had a lot of success with open houses, and I always tell people that your sphere, your friends, your family, make sure that they're involved in referring people to your business, because they are the people that want to see you succeed the most. And when they do help you, make sure you give them a real genuine thank you and a shout out, maybe on social media or with, Does anyone have any ahas they'd like to share before we move on to the next section? No. So we are going to turn to the post-lead follow-up page in the participation guide. And once you follow up with a lead and have permission to have that two-way conversation, what do you think happens with that person? This is a great chart here that shows that after you obtain permission to have the two-way conversation, the lead then becomes a contact in your database. In Command, you will do this manually. This also means that you will move the lead from the 19 to Connect Touch campaign to the 36 to Convert. You've achieved the purpose of the 19 to Connect, which was to connect with the lead, opening the door for a two-way conversation. Connecting with the lead does not necessarily mean they will do business with you or that your relationship is as strong as it could be. That is why you then continue the touch campaign. Whether it is a lead or a contact in your database, every person should be on a touch campaign. This is how you'll gain mind share while continuing to do all the jobs of a real estate agent. At the point where a lead opens the door for a two-way conversation, you must cement the relationship. Everyone in your database should be cemented right away when you transition them to the 36 to Convert. So we have this lead, so we'll want to use the lead follow-up page here. And what do you think the purpose of the One to Cement Touch campaign is? The Cement Touch is a high-value touch that offers a strong first impression and sets the tone for your relationship together. Whatever you choose here should serve more than one purpose. This touch should tell them about the service you provide, help set up a conversation for later, and serve as a reminder of the interaction, and tell them how to refer business to you. What are some options you could offer as your One to Cement? What are other agents using and finding success with? What if you offered Keller Link book, Your First Home, as a gift to a first-time home buyer? Even though it costs a bit, will it make such an impression that the lead chooses to continue the relationship with you? Again, there's another space for ahas, but we'll just keep on rolling. As we wrap up our learning session and the transition to our success systems, let's do a quick review. So does everyone feel like they have an idea of what lead follow-up is? You can thumbs up, you can nod, whatever. Perfect. Okay. If you have any questions, now's the time to throw them out. And then is everyone feeling good about how they follow up with a lead, how to connect with them?
Can you repeat that last thing you said about one to cement?
Yeah, the one to cement is where you want to, in that conversation, you want to tell them the service you provide. You want to help set up a conversation for later. So that's saying, when would be a good time to meet and talk about that? And then give them a couple appointment opportunities. Serve as a reminder of the interaction. So that could be a text afterwards. It was so good meeting you today. It could be a thank you card. And then telling them how to refer business to you. Oh, well, if you're not ready to purchase a home today, do you know anyone that's looking and that might need my help? And if they say no, then you can be like, oh, well, here's my card. And if you come across people, please think of me. And that way they know how to get in touch with you to refer business to you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Not a problem. So now's kind of just the time where you're going to go into your success systems and get those done. And as usual, if you guys have any questions that didn't pop into your head while you were in class today, feel free to shoot them to me via email or text or whatever works for you.
Good question. So when you say like one touch, and when I'm emailing people and they're not replying back, they're just looking at it, that's considered a touch? Or
That
is
is
that just
considered
like
a
a
touch. That is considered a touch, but it's not that cement touch because you're not in front of them face to face. But that is a touch. So let me find, I can't remember what page it was on, but we have, I think it's 12 emails in the 19 plans. So that would count as one of those touches. So it's one call every quarter. So 4 calls and then 12 touches that can be email or mailing or whatever. And then, sorry, I'm trying to find the exact chart so I give you the most accurate information. And then there's also the birthday cards, one of those every year. Of course, I can't find what I'm looking for right after I rush through it all. I'm looking, but yeah, so the 19 touch, those emails are part of those touches. But a one to cement touch is when you get in front of somebody, they understand what you're offering, they understand how to reach and refer to you, they understand your value, and that is oh, here it is. Okay, so those emails fall under the 12 touches of the monthly email, newsletter, market report. And then you also have the 4 touches by phone call and the 2 touches by promotional direct mailers or a magnet or a calendar or recipe card. And then the 1 touch, the annual event or party. So some offices have like a shred event. Sounds like Sophie's trying to have a clothing drive. We're having trunk or treat here in Medford this month. So yeah, invite your clients to those and get right in front of them and get that information to them of the value you can provide. Not a problem. Any other questions? Okay, well, I'll let you guys all go and enjoy working on your success systems and make sure you're getting those contacts into command. I know it can be like, oh, I'll do it later, but trust me, you don't want to do that from somebody who had to add a lot of contacts after their first year. It is way easier to do it daily.
Great. Thank you, Allison.
Not a problem. Have a great day, you guys.
You too.